What's going on, you beauties? Week 7 of Shoplife coming at you. Thanks for tuning in. This week, we got a lot more downs than ups. It is starting to kind of be on the upward trajectory for the end of the week here, but the beginning of the week, not good. Not good at all. My number one pain, I think, in being a business owner is shippers, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But I'm glad that you guys are back. I hope it is nice wherever you guys are viewing from, because currently it is blistering blizzard outside with about 16 inches of snow on the ground and more to come. So it's a lot of shoveling. So getting my workout in, moving snow off of our nice little driveway. Projects in progress. What's on the bench? The bench breakdown. We have the light table that has finally started and getting that rock and rolling. We got all the joinery cut, minus the top, because I'm still just waiting for my acrylic to come in, so I don't want to cut any notches and stuff. But I got the legs, all the half lap joints cut, and those are ready for glue up this week. The SNES table starts on Monday as well. I have all of the plans ready to go, so we can start getting the glue ups and the milling happening. I'm really excited to see how this one goes, especially because I'm going to be filming it, so it's going to be a nice little build video for this SNES desk. It will be, I think, a nice addition to the portfolio. Just like last week, I said I was kind of talking about making some double XL chopping boards. I finally finished those up. By finished, I mean I got them all cut out. They got some really cool kind of rounded shapes, stuff that I haven't really seen before, and I think they're going to be a good addition to Etsy. Just because I know the cutting board market on there is super saturated, so you don't. If you search up cutting boards, you're going to get bombarded with thousands of $30 to $50 cutting boards. So I'm trying to shoot for a higher tier of customer, someone that's willing to pay a little bit more for their cutting board. And I think these designs just kind of help them set them apart from whatever else is on there already. So those will be getting sanded and oiled up. So be sure to look at the Insta for some beauty pics of those. So like I said last week as well, I was working on my game table pricing for kind of the 4 types of tables that I typically offer. Just reworked the numbers and everything. I got that done, and I sent out a few quotes for a couple people that had sent inquiries, and excited to say today I just got a deposit come in for one of the tables. A client reached out about it. I used it to calculate everything. It spit me out the number. I was confident in that number, which is really nice, and I got that sent out, and they accepted it. So that was kind of one of the only wins this week. There's a couple other small ones, but lots of downs this week, lots of punches in the gut. But such is a business owner, such is life. But going into, speaking of some other wins, my buddy Brendan came back out this week, which was really great to see. I love having him out in the shop. It really kind of gives me a sneak peek of seeing what it is like to have an employee, because I can kind of give him the tasks that I don't typically want to do, or the ones that take up most of my time. I can give them to him. He's super jacked to be doing it. So I got him on the hat rack milling and stuff from the lumber order that came in, breaking it down, milling it up. He got it all milled up, all jointed. We'll be working on the planing and stuff, and then the CNC work this week when he comes back. And then we also worked on the design for his dog bowl station. So after he got the hat racks jointed, we worked on his project. We kind of came up with this cool little modern design. He showed me a few pics that he thinks that he's like. We've kind of modified the design to work for it, and we'll be working on that this week as well. So I'm very excited to have him back again this week, but he was big time help. So thank you, Brendan. I also got my website updated. I got all my pictures. I realized that I went through my portfolio and it hadn't been updated in quite a while. So I went through kind of all my emails and all of my own photos, got them all organized and uploaded to the website. So the website is up to date as best it can be. So I got new photos. I kind of tweaked how the portfolio gallery is laid out. So instead of having a whole bunch of categories, I just have the 3 that I want to focus on. And it makes it easier for my clients when they're on there. They can just search for what they want, see exactly what they want, and they don't have to scroll through trying to find individual images. All the ones for game tables, dining tables, and then my home decor are on there. So yeah, that should be live this week. I'm hoping. I'm just talking with the developers because they need to get it just kind of running on the new website. So hopefully that will be up this week. So take a look at it whenever you're watching this. Maybe take a second, go check it out. Let me know what you think, because it would be helpful to see if other people like it as much as I do. All right, for the setbacks and some challenges that happened this week, mostly the downs. Really started off the week immediately. Boom. Monday morning, I got an email from one of my clients. So that last game table I sent out, the one that I packaged so carefully, the one I built this crate for, I got the email, the dreaded email that I've gotten from a few clients. The shippers broke the table. Somehow they must have dropped this thing, or they threw it, or I don't know how they did it, but the whole table seems to have snapped. So, or I shouldn't say the whole table. The armrest, one part of the armrest completely snapped. It has a huge crack down it. So gratefully, I've learned from that, and I have insured all my tables, so I have to now fight with the insurance company. I have to provide all these images, all of basically the reasons why the shippers broke it, and then pretty much this is about a year process, so I have to cover all the costs of rebuilding the table, because the client shouldn't have to wait for my insurance money to come through, so I cover that cost. I rebuild the table to the same specifications, resend them the table, and then I fight with insurance for the next, I think it's between 90 and 120 days before they'll pay out. So I have to send them all this information, all the totals, all of the work and stuff that I can do on the table, if it's feasible to fix it, if it's not feasible to fix it, if it's a total scrap. I just have to get some more pictures from the client. So they've working on sending that to me. I got to get hundreds of different pictures to send to the insurance to make sure that they'll actually give me my money back. They're usually pretty good. It just is a very long process. That was number one. Number two, the next morning, I got an email from a client saying one of their toppers has cracked. Or, sorry, two of their toppers have cracked. And it seems to be from a wood movement issue. So they had some cupping in their table toppers, and I know that's pretty normal, but I guess I told them to flip them over, and I did level it out, because usually it's just about air movement on both sides of the toppers. One's getting more than the other. You flip them over, it kind of equalizes it, but I guess in that equalization, I don't know what their kind of humidity's at or what their environment is, but two of them just seem to have a split coming in, so they're fixable. I just have to get them shipped back, so I have to build a crate empty, ship it to them, have them put the toppers in there, ship it back, fix the toppers, and then ship it back. So it's a lot of back and forth shipping costs, which is crappy. But obviously you can't have toppers out there cracked. The third one was actually the same day. I got an email from a previous client who had some warping issues with their toppers, and I had walked them through the same thing, flipping them over, and that seemed to work. I hadn't heard from them in a few months. They let me know that, that they are not warping anymore. It's great, but I guess they went away for a vacation and they came back and they tried the same thing. They let them sit on the floor and try to acclimate, and they're warping really bad. And so I can't have that either. I can't have my name on that kind of product. So I reached out to them and kind of gave them a few options. Basically, the one we're going with is making new toppers, but out of a plywood core with hardwood edging. It's not going to look the exact same as a full hardwood top, but it's going to remain nice and flat, and they're not going to be having to worry about that warping issue anymore. He was one of my previous clients that didn't have, I was using 3/4 inch material for the topper instead of my now 1.25 inch, so it has a little more beef. And so I'm just going to go with a nice plywood core. Going to be real nice and get that shipped out to him so he has a nice new topper, and then he'll just ship the old toppers back and I'll figure something to do with them. But yeah, those were the 3 gut punches of the week. Going to be kind of an expensive month fixing all this, but such is life. You can't be having a crappy product out there, or to let a crappy product stand. So I stand behind my products, and I want to make sure my clients, because they do spend a good amount of money with me, that they get the top of the line care. And if that means me having to eat a cost of making them a new topper, so be it. That brings us to the cash breakdown, the expenses in, expenses out. This is a top line revenue as well, so this isn't after taking into account all of the wood, my labor, and everything. But this is just the amount of money that's come in. So it's really good. I had a pretty good week on Etsy. We sold some couch tables, or lots of couch tables, some Lazy Susans, and I sold a breadboard as well. So adding up to about $1,205. Cha-ching. We got that game table deposit coming in, so that was $4,900 So that's a nice chunk of change right there. That will go towards getting their material coming in and kind of getting the process set up. And then I talked about it last week, selling the stuff that you no longer need. So I sold, I've been selling my wood scraps to just local makers and stuff, local hobbyists that will find more use in it than I will, and I don't want to throw it out or burn it. So I made about $170 doing that, just selling just the lumber that I can't use. So anything I've decided, anything under 1.5 inches goes in that bin. 1.75 inches, depending on what it looks like. But any of that wider stuff I can glue into panels, so I'm going to continue to do that. But from this last experience of having Brendan, my buddy, break down all that material, and then me trying to make it into cutting boards, the small 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches stuff, it was a lot more work for me to actually kind of glue it into panels than what it was worth. So all the thick stuff, or any of the wider things, I can make into panels, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. But that small 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches stuff is great for smaller cutting boards or smaller projects that so far the hobbyists are loving. So I'm going to continue to do that and kind of make a little bit of money on the scraps, so I'm not losing it. That was pretty much it. That's about the total for Sunday. So if there's anything else that comes in before that, I might add it in. But that was pretty decent. But my expenses, so like I talked about last week, I calculated my heating costs. So that was boom, $175 there. My gas, $100 a week for the old Tacoma. It's kind of a gas guzzler, but I love it. I love that truck. I also calculated my rent for per week, so it's about $527 a week I need to make just to cover my rent. $75 for utilities a week. I also had to get some new bandsaw blades, so that was $140 for my 2 bandsaw blades. I have a Laguna 1412, and that thing seems to only like 5/8 shear force blades. I had some smaller ones on there, and not a good time. So I switched it out for my 5/8 shear force. It's working good. I love that blade for just doing resaw and general purpose cutting. Not good for tight curves, but other than that, it's my favorite blade. But yeah, that was the expenses. That was the cash. My recce's, my recommendations for the week is kind of a new section I'm gonna add in, because there's so many cool things out there, stuff that I'm reading, stuff that listening to. So this could be tools, books, podcasts, kind of anything in that realm of things that I think are cool. So any recommendations that I think you guys should check out. But this week I got 2 cool tools. One is more for kind of the carpentry side, apprenticeship side. It might be good for you in the shop, but it really, I think, is geared towards the tradies. And that is the Quarto. It's from New Zealand, I believe, but basically it's just like a metal, reusable metal sticky note that clips onto your tool belt. So when your journeyman or whoever's telling you, throwing cut numbers at you, you can quickly scribble those down, make sure you have them, and then a quick lick of the finger and wipe it off. So you should go check them out. I don't know if they ship to Canada or if they just ship to the States, but I just saw it. Seemed like a pretty cool product. Definitely would have been usable when I was framing houses. And then the other one is from a company called Canyon Fire Tools. I think it's just one dude, but he's made a very good tool. It looks like it's a magnetic table saw micro adjust. So basically, it uses one of the twistable turn off magnets. I'm forgetting the name right now. But basically uses that with a heavy duty magnet, clips onto your saw fence, and you can micro adjust that instead of having to just rely on those little tippy taps that everyone does. This will give you a little bit more finer adjustment, and he has some very good videos on it showing that even with extreme weight on it, it's still moving, so the magnets are strong. So yeah, those are my 2 recommendations for tools this week. I don't have anything else currently, but this will be kind of an ongoing section I'm hoping to have in all the future vlogs. So stay tuned for those. And kind of the overarching thing I really wanted to talk about this week was I had a couple comments asking about where I kind of get my leads from. And I thought it was interesting. It kind of made me stop and think. And it was just like, where are my leads coming from? And so I kind of just was thinking about it, and I responded to him and on my last video. And basically, my most of my leads just come from word of mouth. I've been doing business now for professionally, I guess, for about almost 5 years now. So I was originally in Calgary, but most of my business has been online through Etsy and just other means because I sell my game tables all over North America. So a lot of it just comes from word of mouth or from people searching me up. I haven't done a ton of like Facebook ads or Instagram ads during this last Christmas. I did, so the 2024 Christmas, I did put some ads out just for my game tables. I was really trying to just get my name out there for some people because it is kind of more of a niche market, and I was just trying to get my name in there. So I did spend some money on Instagram ads and Facebook ads or meta ads, whatever it's called, and did get a lot of some potential leads, but they're kind of lower quality, unqualified leads. They were just people that were like, oh, game table, let's see how much it costs, but they weren't really, I think, in the market for one or knew how expensive one could be. So most of it's word of mouth. The other is on Etsy. So I do put a lot of stuff on Etsy just because they do have a lot of eyeballs coming to their site all the time because they are kind of that handmade market. So they do have quite a few eyeballs and their marketing. So I do advertise on Etsy. I do have my game tables and stuff on there just to kind of get my name out there and get my product in front of some people. Just get them thinking about it. I have had some people reach out from Etsy, and then I kind of bring them into my funnel the way that I like to do business, and then we kind of work from there. But currently, it's just word of mouth, which is really awesome because those are usually qualified leads from people who have seen my product or have something of mine, and they tell their friends. And so they're usually more of, I would consider, a warm lead. So someone that's heard of me, seen my stuff, and kind of want something similar or have another project for me. I would like to expand this year on more specifically local, just with shipping costs and having to deal with shippers has been a nightmare. At least in my experience, I've had quite a few pieces destroyed or broken, and it just prolongs the period and it doesn't really leave a good customer experience. I make sure to try and take care of it as fast as possible and get a new table out to them or a new piece out to them, whatever the case may be. But it sucks that they don't get a pristine piece on the first go. They have to go through this whole rigmarole of dealing with a broken piece. So not a good experience. So really trying to hyper focus on the local market because there are so many people around me, and shipping is a lot less expensive. If not, I can also just deliver it myself, which is nice because I get to meet the client. So I'm really going to be focusing some more Facebook ads, meta ads, whatever they're called, just on my local market, specifically for the three things that I build, which is dining tables, game tables, and high-end home decor. Really pushing that stuff out just to my local market, and maybe even try some Google ads, but I've had some better luck on Facebook ads. I do find you have to put a little bit of money behind them. You can't be setting your daily budget to $5 or $6 because you might get one or two people. At least in my experience, you need to put 50 or 60 bucks a day behind it. It's not necessarily what they're going to spend, but it gives them a little bit more budget to bid on a bigger chunk or however the algorithm works. But in my experience, that seems to be working the best. But I also would be really nice to hire someone for that to take care of just kind of lead generation, giving them an X amount of budget per month. They can run some nice ads with some nice profile pics, some nice descriptions and stuff, and just kind of let those run, have them manage it, send me the leads that are kind of qualified, and I can work from there instead of having to do all of it. Because as a solo business owner and furniture designer, I'm really good at building furniture, but the business side of it, I am still learning. That's part of the 5-year journey that I'm on right now, and I'm still learning every day. So it'd be nice to hire that out for somebody that actually knows what they're doing. So I'm not going to just be throwing money at it and basically just wasting it. But yeah, those are kind of the places where I've found leads and good success in those. The only other couple places, because people do ask from time to time, like, if you're trying to start out, like where can you go to find leads? And it really, and it's such a cheesy answer to say, but like it depends on what you're building. If you're just doing cutting boards, or if you're doing like wedding decor or something, you'll have to kind of tailor your approach to those niches. But in general, like if you're building nice furniture, tables, hutches, TV stands, console stuff, freestanding furniture, you can reach out to some designers, your local designers. They're usually really good, because they have their own clientele. They're looking for a specific type of furniture. They have a budget. They know what they need. They usually have design requirements. So it makes the process of onboarding them and getting a piece of furniture out to them, I find a little bit easier. The problem is getting their trust to actually get them to buy a piece of furniture from you. So that's why having a good portfolio, a nice website that makes you look professional, is kind of key, I think. But realtors is another really good option, especially if you're doing like smaller home goods like charcuterie boards and cutting boards. If you find a good realtor, I have a couple that I do work for, and from time to time, I'll just get an email with, "Hey, I have XYZ coming up. Can you make me blah?" And usually, we've come up with a couple different designs, some more unique pieces, not just a standard cutting board, that work for them, that make them stand out. I do that for a couple realtors, and so that has some nice returning income every once in a while. And especially if you can put your brand or your logo, or send a nice like a care card, or even your business card along with that, that homeowner is now an owner of your piece. And if they're like, "Oh, this is really nice, like maybe we should look at something," if your logo, something that is identifiable to you that they can search up, would be really helpful for kind of making your name more known. And basically, you're using the realtor's clients as kind of a lead generation to bring them to you in the future. Those are kind of my ideas, but I would love to hear if you guys have any other places or secret sauces for Facebook ads, or just being able to get lead generation. I'd love to hear from it. Really glad you guys could come out. If you guys are finding me mildly amusing or mildly helpful, subscribe is always welcome, but I'm really just here to share my journey. So love having you on it. I will see you guys next week. Go make something and stay warm. Bye.